Today we're taking a look at a Hydra takeover that I did for a player who I'd say is pretty mid-game, and this team should be very relatable to a lot of you. Now, this team is made up with mostly fusion and free champions. We have Inquisitor Shamael. It could be a Duchess, a Glaciad, possibly even an Arbiter that I used last week for him. He did not have quick battles on Hydra unlocked. I built this team and unlocked it no problem. Switched Arbiter out for Inquisitor Shamael. Still had no blessing on Leonardo. But we did fix that this week. This week, pushed up to Brutal, trying to unlock some quick battles over there, and ended up being able to pull in, let's see, 60 million damage on Brutal. Now, is this massive numbers? No. But is there massive potential here? Without a doubt, yes. This team could do Nightmare for sure, but you have to have a lot better gear. You may have to switch out Inquisitor Shamael, but this team could do a ton of damage. You may even be able to hit the Hydra personal clash chests with just this key. Now that is about 400 million damage on Nightmare, so that is a lot, but it is potential with the correct gear. Now as far as the builds, there's a lot to be desired. Donatello, let's start with him. We have a lot left to be leveled, nothing ascended, and no glyphs basically on anything. Because there's one issue. Silver. Silver is terrible. This account is a mid-game account. He is a spender, but silver is still a problem over here, and I just wasn't able to glyph anything and upgrade the gear because we got to prioritize upgrading gear typically over glyphing it. So over the next few weeks, few months, however long it takes to get enough silver to do the events, plus upgrade your gear, then we'll finally be able to get these more online. But as far as Donatello's stats we're going for, HP is very important. HP for Donatello, he's going to heal all allies by 5% of his max HP. You'll see in the fight that every time a turtle attacks, Donatello's going to join in and heal everybody by 5% of his max HP. That's huge. He is a massive support champion, which at the end of it, he was healing for 2.5 million damage. So of course, for the relic, we have Journal of Necrotos, boosting his heals and his turn meter boosting. He has turn meter boost from this A3, heals from the A1, an amazing passive. Overall, just a very, very strong champion. Cruelty is a very good blessing to have on him. Now, as far as his gear goes, I have Relentless on him. You could go Relentless plus Merciless. You could go 9-piece protection. There's a lot of things you could go. I think speed and extra turns is excellent for him. Gets his passive off cooldown quicker, and it's really just an ideal build, in my opinion. His A2 ability can't have the cooldown reduced anyways, so makes Merciless a little less exciting. As far as Donatello, another champion who has a lot of gear that needs to be upgraded. No glyphs on anything. He has crit rate gloves as well. As far as his stats, we're going for attack, speed, 100% crit rate, crit damage, and accuracy. Depending on the level of Hydra you're going for, will determine how much accuracy you actually need. If we open up the Hell Hades Stages tools, you can actually see on Hydra, select a random rotation, doesn't matter. Brutal, look at the resistance. You're going to need basically 300 accuracy. A little bit less, like 260 max. But on Nightmare, you're going to need a lot more. So on Nightmare, the highest accuracy you'll need is 360. So if you're pushing Nightmare, you're going to have to bump those stats up a little bit. But for Brutal, we're pretty decent where we are. Of course, when his necklace gets taken up, when his other pieces get taken up, when his potential of 21 plus extra speed gets taken up, he's going to be looking a lot better. As far as relics go, I would throw on something like the Malefic Talon as a free one, and a Arethi Coronet as a bit more rare one, but I would definitely prioritize the Coronet over on Crocad versus Michelangelo. His skills, he's here for the decreased attack, the decreased defense, and the debuff spread. It's the main things he's here for, other than, of course, the turtle synergy with Donatello as well as Leonardo. But the decreased attack is basically required. The leech is already brought by Crocad, so not a huge deal. As for his blessings, we have Nature's Wrath. For his masteries, if you have him built with a lot of crit damage, Helm Smasher will be better. But for now, he's not hitting that hard, so Helm Smasher procs are probably more impactful. Up next, we have Leonardo. Leonardo is in Savage. He's actually fully leveled up. He's a very strong champion, 202 speed, not even great crit damage, only 210%, 4,300 defense, No accuracy, no resistance, nothing like that even needed. He has no relic currently. Eventually, if he pulls a Malefic Talon, throw it on Leonardo. Anything to boost the crit damage or even his defense is going to be helpful. But you don't really want to switch relics a ton. He could. I'm going to go ahead and throw this on him because this will help boost his defense some, essentially boosting his damage. But eventually, Malefic Talon, just going to be better. Typically, you want something that has a useful stat as well as effect. But if you can't get a useful effect, try to get some useful stats. As far as Leonardo, of course, he's bringing great damage from his A3 ability. He's joining in the attacks that the other turtles do and bringing Donatello into the attacks as well. But he's also bringing an AoE increased defense plus ally protection and an unkillable on himself, which is twofold. One, if it gets stolen by the head of mischief, that's not good. Stolen and then spread is not a good situation. However, if it's not stolen, he becomes a very, very good champion in helping your team stay alive. Him plus Donatello makes your team so much more tanky. Plus, of course, he has his A1 ability that he hits pretty hard with also. His masteries, right over here, we have Helm Smasher. Overall, very solid champion, fairly simple to build as well. Up next, we have Crocad plus Shayak. Crocad, I was shooting for his speed around about 200. We have speed glyphs to still do, so he can go 200 or above, but he doesn't need to have a ton of speed. He's joining in attacks from Shayak, he's counterattacking, he's doing a lot outside of his normal turns. What you really need is good accuracy, good attack, good 100% crit rate, and then good crit damage, and speed. You want it to be right around 200, unless of course you can push it to 225, 250, and even higher. But this account, the gear is a bit tighter, so I wasn't able to pick up the damage as well as go for a lot of speed. As far as the relic goes, you're going to want a Rethi Coronet if you can pick it up, which if you don't know what that is, it's the relic that boosts your damage based on the debuffs that you've placed. It is right here. Wearer's damage increases by 1% each time they place a debuff up to 30%. That would be significant for Crocad. But for now, we're just running this extra attack. Once again, it boosts the stats, but not a very useful effect. As far as his Blessing, Nature's Wrath, and as far as his masteries, he's actually currently in War Master, but that does need to be swapped over to Helm Smasher. Helm Smasher will definitely give him more damage. Other than that, this mastery setup is the one you're most likely going to want to go with, potentially Whirlwind of Death if you use him in other wave-based content. As far as Shayak build goes, this one's fairly simple. This was basically just, hey, there's no set that's really going to add much, so I just want him to survive. His build was just focused on stats. Good HP, okay defense. Honestly, I'd rather be 3,000 plus, 256 speed, and okay accuracy. His accuracy will be higher once things are upgraded, once things are glyphed out, accuracy glyphs across the board, and we'll be able to get closer to that 300 accuracy mark. But for now, he's going to be a little bit off of that, unfortunately. But silver's an issue. We can't just make, well, I guess we could just make silver by selling a lot of this stuff, but silver is a problem, and we have a lot of gear that needs to be taken to plus 16. But as far as the sets go for him, he doesn't bring a ton of debuffs to make 9-piece Feral very appealing. He doesn't bring AoE buffs to make 9-piece Protection very appealing. You could throw a Relentless set on him, but to be honest, he's not really bringing a ton other than the awesome passive and the block buffs that really require extra sets. You could use a Relentless set on him, Relentless plus Merciless. Those would be like, I guess, the optimal sets for him. But if you don't have the stats in those sets, just focus on having the correct stats for him. So good HP, good defense, fast speed, 250 plus, and then accuracy closer to 300. As far as his relic goes, this should actually be switched over to Molten Deathbell, I believe. It gives him some extra accuracy. This is good kind of for the arena, but it'd actually be a lot better on Crocad for the arena. So let's give him this one. This is the best relic for just filling in some accuracy gaps, essentially. And that may even be why the run failed, because the run failed because the head of mischief stole some of our buffs and then spread them. If Shayak had the block buffs, that wouldn't have happened. That's kind of interesting. So we threw that on there. That should definitely help out. 257 and then eventually a bit more once this is taken up as well. As far as his blessing, Brimstone is solid. Cruelty, if you had a higher star soul, but Brimstone's fine. And then we have War Master over there. Now, as far as Inquisitor Shamael goes, you can build him for damage. This build is really just for survivability. We don't have the luxury here of building for survivability plus damage. So it was just, okay, I want him to survive. I want him to cleanse the fears. And this was just the best setup. 53,000 HP, 1,700 defense, good speed. You could go accuracy. His A1 ability technically does have a chance of decreasing the duration of buffs, which is useful, but not really in the situation to build for all of these extra stats just yet. Eventually, he could do that. Eventually, he could go relentless and have 100% crit rate with big crit damage, good attack, and all that kind of stuff. But for now, this is the build that's keeping him alive, keeping him up through the fight. We could throw a relic on there as well. He doesn't really need it, to be honest. He's pretty tanky as it is, but this could help him with a bit more healing potentially. And we have a good amount of Starstone as well. As far as his blessing, doesn't really matter. Cruelty would be best at a higher star soul, potentially having a champion in your team with intimidating presence or commanding presence could help out as well. But this team, if you got creative with it, could do significant amounts of damage. If you found a champion who would fit in a provoke set, maybe Donatello could fit in a provoke set. Maybe Tshirt, though, would be a little bit weird. Possibly Michelangelo, who is doing the lowest damage in this run. Throw him into a provoke set because he does have that AoE A3 ability. No, A2 ability. Yeah, A3. He has this AoE ability that could proc a provoke on the Head of Decay, keep it controlled. You don't want to sacrifice Crocad's damage for a provoke set, but a provoke set in here would be extremely powerful. Have Shamael replaced with like a Duchess or a Glaciad, and now all of a sudden you're moving up into nightmare levels of Hydra and doing significant amounts of damage. This team has tons of potential for growth. But ultimately, this team is fairly simple. It's just a big damage team that is very tanky because of the turtle synergy and the different debuffs each of them bring. This may be better now that Tshirt has the higher accuracy, but the lack of provoke allows the Head of Decay to just cleanse everything no problem anyways. And so if you were able to put a provoke set, maybe even on Inquisitor Shamael and just click the Head of Decay, that could work also. Having a provoke set could definitely push the damage a bit higher, especially if you get a lucky provoke off very early in the fight. Matter of fact, if he has a provoke set leveled up, I may just throw it on Shamael. The chances of that are very low because we've been focused on other gear so far. But let's see. We have this. Yeah, there's nothing really able to be thrown on that's going to be of decent quality. I mean, maybe. We lose a little bit of HP. This could possibly work. 219 speed, though. It's pretty bad, honestly. 52,000, but maybe it's fine. Maybe it is okay. The Aura lead is the one Shamael is boosting. And technically, with Shamael, the Journal of Necrotos is actually the best because he will boost more turn meter up there. I have Tshirt in the lead because of the speed aura, but you could swap Tshirt for a different champion as well. This is a good thing to have on Shamael, though. But if you wanted to get more turns from Donatello, Leonardo, Crocad, whatever you wanted, you could put them there. I think Tshirt makes a good amount of sense, but you could test that out. Basically, any of the fears being cleansed, Shamael is going to boost the turn meter of the champion in the lead spot. But now let's try to target. Let's actually restart this fight and click to target the Head of Decay. And this is what you should do as well. If you're going to run this team, a team like this, have somebody in provoke set and then target the Head of Decay. Maybe eventually he lands it. Probably won't. Honestly, if you had a turtle in a provoke set, Donatello, possibly Michelangelo, with some damage on it, of course, as well, that would be very strong. Because remember, every time a turtle attacks, the other turtles are going to join in, which means you're getting a lot more chances to land that provoke. That may actually be the best way to run this team. You would have to manual it a little bit, as in just clicking the heads, but you wouldn't have to worry about the Head of Decay cleansing all of your stuff, and this would allow you to break into higher difficulties. Obviously, the chances of landing provoke seem to be next to none. Does he have a provoke set on? He does. But yeah, 30% chance, This is the 4th run, right? Should be landing here any moment now. Let's see it. No provoke. One more time. It's got to land now, right? 30% chance. This is basically like forging mythical relics and it never hitting mythical. There we go. We got the provoke. So now you'll see that the damage is going to be much better because there's no cleanse, there's no poison cloud, and whenever this thing tries to place debuffs or whatever, Shamel is just going to be counterattacking and having a chance of placing provoke again, which would be pretty cool. But I do like the idea of the potential provoke from the turtles. But you would want a fairly decent provoke set if on Michelangelo, and for Leonardo, you may value the Relentless set a bit more. This could be good, though, if he wants to do a little bit of manual clicking. This case specifically, though, it may not make a huge deal because we're not actually wiping them all that quickly. But the head of Toxic Clouds already did try to place the poison cloud, so we did prevent that from doing anything, which is always nice. A very big help there. Target the head of decay. Yeah, more provoke. Sweet. So whenever I did this run the first time, it was 100% full auto, no clicking anything. But if you want a bit better performance, just click ahead and you'll get better performance and better success from that version of the team. Pretty simple stuff. Either way, guys, best of luck if you decide to run this team. Best of luck picking up Leonardo. If you don't have Leonardo, just put a champion in there who does good damage and brings some survivability. You can use Michelangelo and Donatello together. They're very powerful turtle combination there as well. But with Leonardo, it's even better. Best of luck, guys. If you are interested in having a takeover done, just click the link down below. Get signed up. Either way, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll catch you all on the next one.